Hi guys and welcome back to another video. I'm Shah and this is Thoroughly Enjoyed Books. Today I am bringing you the Buy Book tag. This is a tag started by the lovely Leo from Books with Leo. Go click on her, go and subscribe to her. She is one of my favourite booktubers of all time. She has just got such a lovely personality. The books that she reads are fantastic and her aesthetic and her filmmaking is... honestly, if you watch her videos, you will just be enraptured. I love sticking her vlogs on, which are like really long, and just watching them for hours and having them on in the background while I'm cleaning and all that fun stuff. They're fab. So Leo created this book tag, which is all about bisexuality. It comprises of 6 questions that relate to some sort of misconception that a lot of people have about bisexuality, people who are bisexual and what that means. I did want to have an answer for each question be a queer book, what with it being Pride and all that fun stuff. However, I just couldn't do it. I think I have 3 queer books on this list, or that could be considered queer. The other 3 are not. They fit the questions and that's how we're gonna roll. Maybe I'll do this again in a couple of years when I have, succeeded in my goal of reading more queer literature, more bisexual books, and maybe I can come back here and do one that is fully queer, even fully bi, maybe. We'll see. Let's get right into it. Number 1 is confusion. A lot of people think that bisexual people are confused. Spoiler alert, we are not. However, sexuality can be a confusing thing while you're figuring it out. Name a book with a character who is also on a journey to figuring things out. And for this, I have gone for a queer book, and that is King and the Dragonflies by Kaysen Callender. This is a very recent book for me. Actually, this was the last book that I read, but it was beautiful. This book follows our main character King, whose brother Khalid has recently passed away, and in this book he is coming to terms with his friend's sexuality and maybe in turn his sexuality. I really enjoyed this book. This is a middle grade novel. King is 12 in this book and his best friend has recently come out to him as gay. However, King was brought up in a really conservative neighbourhood. He's from a black family that have always said that you cannot be black and gay. So he is dealing with all these different types of discrimination and these opinions that have been put on him and figuring himself out, and he doesn't know who he is. And it maybe takes another person to maybe say to him that perhaps he is. And it's a very hard book. There's a lot of triggers in this book. There's triggers for death and illness, there are triggers for homophobia, there are triggers for racism, there are triggers for just so many things. And in a middle grade book, that's quite impressive. But I thought this book was absolutely beautiful. It captures grief in such a human way. It's magical realism, and the fact that this boy believes his dead brother has reincarnated as a dragonfly, and how much faith he puts into that and how much he relies on the dragonflies is just a really heartwarming story. I thought it was gorgeous, and it is definitely a book full of confusion but also of discovering who you are. Number 2 is First Queer Crush. Name a book character who totally made you swoon. And this was difficult for me because I'm not somebody who can really say that they have many crushes on book characters. Fictional characters, yes, TV, films, even video games. But when it comes to book characters, I really struggle, and I actually had to go through my Goodreads and go back a really long time to get an answer for this question. In the end, I have chosen 2 people who are in fact a couple in a book series that I read back in 2013, and that is Diana and Henry from the Look series. Both of these characters were so swoon-worthy. I remember back when I first read this series, I was 18. I was just about to go to uni, so it was a really long time ago. I knew I was bisexual then. I've known I was bisexual since I was 13. But I didn't realise that that was the way I was responding to Diana. Henry Schoonmaker is this incredibly wealthy man who has a heart of gold despite his playboy attitude, and I really fell for that. But Diana is this feisty, independent girl who doesn't fit in with her 1800s society. She doesn't submit to the expectations of her, and I had so much admiration for her. So these 2 as a couple, my little bisexual heart, I'm telling you. I need a drink, it's hot out there. Number 3 is coming out, the moment when you are ready to acknowledge your sexuality. Name a book that made you want to scream and gush and shout about it to everybody that you know. And for this one, I have gone with Normal People. Are you surprised? Because I'm not. I tried so hard to find another book for this. I really wanted to go with You Should See Me in a Crown. I think it's gonna have to be those two books. Maybe Normal People or You Should See Me as a Crown. Either of these two books you need to read. They are fantastic. Normal People is one of my favourite books of all time. I've mentioned this before, I've mentioned this in several videos recently, but I love it. The TV show is also fantastic, and I want everybody to read and watch this book because it's amazing. You Should See Me in a Crown hasn't quite reached that level yet, but maybe it will in the future. But Normal People, about two people who just cannot communicate for the life of it. That book. I'm not going to talk any more about it because I've talked about it loads lately, but I think you should read it. Just do it for me. Number 4 is Recognition. Unfortunately, by erasure is still a thing. Name a book that made you feel seen and valued. For this, I have gone with a non-fiction book, and that is The Bible by Lauren Nicodemus. This is a collection of essays looking at bisexuality, and it is from all sorts of different people, different races, different religions, different classes, different, life experiences. It has so many different essays about what it is to be bisexual in this. Questioning yourself, the confusion, all of these tropes that we are talking about right now. It has an essay on every single one of them and how you navigate that and how that impacts your life. And I love this essay collection. I think everybody should get a copy. If you're interested in bisexuality, give it a go because it's fantastic. Even if you don't care, just pick it up and give it a read, and I promise you will learn so much. Number 5 is 50-50. Sexuality is a fluid thing, and so is bisexuality. Almost no one is 50-50. Name a book about which you are unsure whether you love it or you hate it. Your own book that you're 50-50 on. And for this one, I have gone with a book that I read right at the beginning of this year and thought I was going to love and was let down by it, but I'm not sure whether I still love it. I was just not as excited by it as I thought I was going to be, or if it was genuinely a letdown. And that is How to Have Feminist Sex by Flo Perry. This is a graphic memoir type book about sex and feminism involved in sex, and how sexual relationships have developed, how women have more agency now, how to be safe during sex, how to explore your sexuality safely. It has different genders, it has different sexualities explored in this book, and the concept of it is like up here. It's like God tier concept. I loved it. I was so excited to read it, and some of it I was sat there going yes, yes, yes. Other parts of it I was going, this is basic stuff, and maybe other people would need that very basic level. I'm very aware that sex education in the UK in particular is crap. It's absolute garbage. You learn nothing. So maybe this is good for some people. But I think I have tailored so much of my education and my career around sexual health that I didn't learn anything from it. And I kind of expected it to be a bit more, I don't know what I expected. So for that, I'm giving it a 50-50. This is I'm not sure whether I loved it or hated it. And then the last one is community. Finding your community can be hard. Sometimes you feel like you're too gay for your straight friends, but too straight for your gay friends. And it's hard to find a place in between. But in the end, it's all about finding the right people that love you. Name a book with an amazing group of friends. I wish I could recommend a queer book with a found family for this one, but I can't because I just haven't read many, which I definitely need to make more of an effort to read more. However, I am going to go with The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater for this book. Now, I've not read the rest of the series, so I don't know anything about the rest of the relationships in this book, but this book had amazing friendships, and I loved that. The fact that people stood by Ronan despite everything, the fact they stood by Noah despite everything, the group, the community that they build was one of my favourite things about this book. I think it is so rare to find books that do friendships really well, and this one does it for me. Now, don't tell me about the rest of the series. I don't want to know if they fall out and go their separate ways. I don't want to know if they all end up in relationships with one another. I just want to focus on how pure those friendships are in this book, because I love the friendships. So those were my answers to the bi book tag. Obviously I'm not going to tag anybody for this one because I don't want to accidentally out anybody, and I don't want to put any pressure on anybody to out themselves or anything like that. But just know that if you're on my channel, you are so welcome here. You are safe here, no matter your race, sexuality, gender, class, whatever. You are always welcome here, as long as you are not a dick. For that reason, I'd just like anybody out there who feels comfortable doing this book tag, please go ahead and do it, because it's so much fun. I loved the questions. I loved how they focused on misconceptions, and we are continually challenging those conceptions. Bisexual people are always challenging those conceptions all the goddamn time. I hope you enjoyed this video. As usual, I'll leave a link down below to Twitter and Goodreads and all that good stuff. Go and follow me on there if you'd like, and I can't wait to see you in another video very, very soon. Take care. Bye.